Welcome back to Tabletop Salt. I'm Ross, and today I'm going to do something slightly different, which is going to rate my top 5 artwork from Games Workshop over the years and see which one should come out and be a new model. Now this is inspired because Games Workshop kindly sent us a new Helbrecht and Castellan model, which are very cool. But at the moment I'm not painting Black Templars, so it would be kind of taken away from my current project, which is Orcs at the moment. Still got a long way to go for that. So I tried to think, what could I do then to, say thank you for that. And I really like the idea of the Castellan being an old piece of iconic artwork. I think it was a 3rd edition rulebook cover. That was when I first got into Games Workshop and Warhammer. And I thought, let's have a look at some of the previous artwork in the past and discuss maybe would they make cool models as well. So this is also, I think, possibly my first time doing like a list video on YouTube, which is a bit surprising because I've been doing this for a while. Anyway, let's look into some of the iconic artwork of Games Workshop and which ones I think could make into a new model. So let's get the Primarchs out the way first, and I'm only going to mention one, and that's going to be Angron. Maybe not people's most popular opinion, but when it came to the artwork I had to include him. There has been other artwork I've seen of other Primarchs, but this is the one that kind of stood out for me. And the reason being is that I think it's a very old artwork, I think from a White Dwarf I remember a long time ago, but it is such one that is different to the current Primarchs. A lot of them just seem to be, there's only 3 of them really, standing about, posing. They don't seem to be too much action, maybe getting ready for it. With Angron, it could be ferocious and vicious, moving forward, lurching forward as seen in the artwork, and really be quite different. And there is rumours circling around at the moment with World Eaters possibly being seen in the future. We'll probably see something, maybe we'll see something different in a year's time. But if they are going to include Angron, I hope it's absolutely ferocious, powering on forward and getting stuck into the battle, rather than maybe Mortarion just pointing a gun forward or Magnus casting a spell. I want to see absolute ferocity, and I think Angron could do that really well, and this artwork exemplifies it so well. For my number 2 pick, I am going with the Demon Hunter from the 3rd edition Codex, Demon Hunters. This is a codex, or at least an artwork I remember so well. Quite a striking pose of the hammer coming down, really, looking up onto this Demon Hunter about to swing. And I really like it. It's very fiery. I love it as a model, just a very dynamic sort of Demon Hunter going down for the swing. I think he's on top of skulls and everything as well, and I think it'd just be really cool. I know Inquisitors are a little bit in a problematic place at the moment, but if it comes out to be a cool model, then people still might come out and buy it anyway, because, well, sometimes people love to paint cool models. So I really think this Demon Hunter one would be fantastic. So that gets my number 2 pick. Next up is a newer entry on this, and it is the Adeptus Mechanicus character from the front of the Adeptus Mechanicus Codex, released earlier this year. Many people absolutely loved this Codex cover. They thought it was great, and it could be because it was just filled with Scutari and various parts of it, but I think this Mechanicus character just shows what a Mechanicus character could be. Of whirling parts of not just a cloak and everything, but a lot of automation and parts on it as well. And it reminded me very much of the Forge World character I can't remember the name of when it comes to the Horus Heresy, but I think that one was the lead traitor of the Adeptus Mechanicus side of that. And it just reminds me an absolute violent amount of machines and whirring parts, which I do believe that we've got different kind of characters for the Adeptus Mechanicus, but I want one of a bit more of a sizable extent. Sometimes you get, I think the latest storyline in one of the stories, there was like an absolute huge, almost city-wide kind of character. It was more computer than human by a large margin, and I really love to see one that is a lot more kind of machine, and it could be larger, could be a Lord of War in fact, but I think that might be going a stretch too far. Either way, I really like this as a sort of inspiration, where there's a lot more whirring parts of machine to it. I thought when I saw that artwork it was fantastic, and I'd maybe love to see a model like that as well. For my number 4 pick, I went with this sort of Tzeentch Chaos Sorcerer. I didn't want to say Thousand Sun one. I remember seeing this artwork in, I believe, Chaos Space Marines 3.5 Codex. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But it had a section for each of the Chaos Gods in terms of a character that represented each of the legions most devoted to them. So there was like a World Eater, Chaos Sorcerer, I presume that was Tzeentch, Thousand Suns probably. We then had Death Guard, and then we had an Emperor's Children. And I think they were of the legion they were part of, but they seemed more aligned to the god of it. So that's why I've gone with the Tzeentch Sorcerer and Thousand Suns. Either way, I absolutely love this one. There's no corruption on it. It is just almost all-knowing, staring at you with the sword down like that. I love it. I think it's really cool. It's very simple, but I really think if they made a model like that, it would be absolutely resplendent. I think it would be very cool. I also think for a long time that Thousand Suns, if they were to get like, not even a terrain piece, maybe another Lord of War, something like that, but they should make maybe like a coven of sorcerers, in essence like a single model that could represent them. Think of the Silent King, where he's got his almost cabal himself of his attendants, and then he's at the centre. That's the kind of thing I really like to see a Thousand Suns. And maybe you could make it yourself just by adding in, but the point is that it's a group of sorcerers making a coven, and it kind of acts as a single unit. And then maybe when you cause more wounds, one of them might die, and then they lose an ability, same as Silent King. I think that would be quite cool. Some people might think it's terrible. But either way, I would really love to see this as a Tzeentch Sorcerer. Just really cool iconography, love the helmet, love the sword where it is. Just really think it's awesome. Maybe it's the artwork that's just more cooler than the concept, maybe the model is, but it's been one of those ones that's stuck with me for years. And finally we come to Asdrubael Vect. I think this artwork comes from the 3rd edition codex for Dark Elder, one of the very, very few codexes they got before 8th edition came around. But let's face it, you know, many people, my first ever army was Dark Elder, and we just want Vect to come back. That's kind of it. The artwork is kind of cool, but the model would be even cooler. Obviously we'd have the Deus of Destruction back, which would be great, and his attendance is the best way I'm going to be able to phrase that, just so we don't annoy YouTube, but his attendance also on it, and with Incubi Cloaked Bodyguard. Basically, there's so many Drukhari players out there who are just wanting a new Vect model. I wanted to include the artwork, it's always stuck with me, and I've just always loved it, and I think if we saw an updated one on a customised Deus with all the sort of stuff that Vect could have, it would be absolutely amazing. So that's my top 5 picks of artwork that I've seen throughout my time playing Games Workshop games, and the ones that have stuck with me for 40k specifically, that I think, wow, wouldn't they make cool models? Let me know what you think. Am I wrong? Is there better choices? Let me know in the comments below. Please comment, share, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on our Tabletop Assault Battle Report.